Hello, farming family. Welcome to Alipat Farms. I always say there's money in the soil, and you always need to get this hands dirty. Today, I want us to look at something important. The importance of certain cultural practices on tomatoes production. These cultural practices help increase the tomato yield, but these practices normally farmers do ignore, which really affects production or productivity. So, right now, let's look or take it step by step. Let's take it step by step. One, the first thing that you have to consider is staking. Staking is one of the cultural practices you have to consider. So, staking is just fixing strong stakes within the plant or around the plant and just tie the plant with a rope. Attach the stake. This really helps. The benefit that gives the tomatoes is that one, it prevents the fruit from getting in touch with the soil or in contact with the soil. That may happen to, or that may lead to fruit rot. It prevents the fruits from rotting or getting in touch with in contact with the soil. It also prevents the fruits from getting dirty with the soil or water when there's a water splash. It doesn't take dirt on the fruit, so it really helps and then protect the plants. This also helps expose the tomato plant fully to sunlight, and this really helps increase the yield of the tomato plant. That is staking. So you can have your sticks, you have your nylon ropes, or you get some rope, and then once you fix your sticks within the tomato plant, you tie it with a rope around the sticks. That is the staking. Someone may ask that, okay, Charlie, what if you have a huge or a big commercial farm? Charlie, it will be hard for you to do that, or cost intensive. Yes, I get it. The cost intensive to do that is also a factor to consider. That's why we have different cultural practices that, aside the staking, you can go for the other one that you think is suitable. The second part is the trellising. So under the staking, let me add this under the staking. Under the staking, if you want to stake a tomato plant, you need to do it early. Why you do it is when the tomato plant is 3 weeks after your transplanting, 3 weeks after the transplant, 3 to 4 weeks after transplanting, you have to go ahead with your staking. That is very important. You don't have to leave the plant to start fruiting before you stake it. This, you may end up taking off some fruit from the plant, dropping fruit from the plant, disturbing flowering and other stuffs. So you just have to do it early. A week when the flower bud starts coming up or showing up, you can start your staking. Secondly, when it comes to trellising is normally done at the greenhouses and the shade net, indoor productions. So normally trellising is recommended or recommend for greenhouse productions or indoor productions. Here is where you're gonna place a straight string or some metal string straight across, or across the shade net or your greenhouse. And once you set up that strings, you then use ropes, hang upwards, and then you train the tomatoes. You give it to the tomatoes to coil on or to train on. So this is the trellising. So normal trellising is done for indeterminate varieties. The tomato plant that grows very tall. So once you have your strings and you set up that, you just train the tomatoes to take That's steps. You tight it or you hold it on the tomato plant. Another aspect of the cultural practices is pruning. Pruning. Someone may ask, "Oh, Sharia, pruning also support the plant?" Yes, pruning do support the plants for plant support. When you are cutting excess branches, branches from the tomato plant, you just leave the plant erect, stand straight. When there is enough branches around the tomatoes, you see it pulls the tomatoes down. And once it pulls it down, you realize that the fruits are getting in contact with the soil. But once you are taking off using maybe scissors or some sharp instrument to cut it off, when the branches shoot, then you cut it off, leaving the top ones. It helps the plant to be straight without pulling the plant down. So pruning is also one of the factors. But someone may wonder, Charlie, this all is cost. It comes with a cost. So what other aspects can we also consider? The easiest one and the most important one is earthing up. That is always what I recommend for farmers. Earthing up is one of the things that I do recommend for farmers. Earthing up is healing the soil around the stem base of the plant. So once your tomato is about 3 weeks, you begin your earthing up. This earthing up is by healing the soil or heaping the soil around the stem base of the plant. This really helps the plant to shoot new roots from the stem. It helps the plant to shoot new roots from the stem. This new roots help hold the soil. That results a stable plant. That result the plant to be stable. It holds the stem because of the new root that has shoot. It holds it firm. No matter how wind will blow, it will not get in contact with the access root, where maybe there will be a water logging and then it will rot the fruit. It really helps to also increase. It helps increase yield because you have the tap root under, and then once you heal the soil around the stem base, it shoots new root. So that new root that has developed also gets nutrients from the soil that you have heaped around, because you fed the surface of the soil to heap it around the stem base. So that root that has developed, the root that has developed also gets it gets nutrients to support the plant growth. So this help increase the yield. And also, because you have heaped the soil around it, it take off excess water from getting in contact with the plant, because you have healed the soil. So when it rains, it drains off. So it promotes good drainage. It improves drainage access in the plant. So this really help support the plant, increase yield, and then get the result that you need. So these are some of the cultural practices that we have been ignoring, especially with the earthing up. At the same time, this earthing up helps control weeds. At the same time, the earthing up helps control weeds, because when there are weeds within the access road and around the plant, once you turn the soil over to hold the stem base, it closes or it covers the weeds that is coming within the access road, because you'll be fetching the soil from the access road. So once you fetch it, it controls the weeds, because automatically you have uprooted the weeds and turn it over. So this really help protect or increase the crop yield or the plant yield. So if we're not able to afford the staking, you're unable to afford the trellising or your pruning because labor costs may happen to be that, but you can consider your earthing up. That will help. Easy to do. And once you do that, you thank me later. Because normally I've been studying about this and say no, even if I have to give the plant stakes, if I have to stake the plant, but I still have to help some soil around the tomato plant, because healing the soil, not only supporting it, because you have stakes there that is supporting it, but healing the soil around it helps the plant to shoot new roots. That new root really takes nitrogen or nutrient. Let me say nutrient in general, nutrient from the soil. Because when the down root finish using the nutrient over there, the stem base of the plant to get nutrients from that topsoil to also support the plant. That really helps to increase the yield that you need. So I recommend these cultural practices for every farmer who is watching this video, not only on tomatoes but other crops. Is today your first time on Alipat Farms? Kindly like the video, click on the subscription button and share the video as well. If you want any education or if you need any assistance in terms of consultancy, in terms of farm supervision, in terms of training, or any advice on any production, don't hesitate. Alipat Farm is the like. The more you like, the more you do more things. So thank you for watching this video. We have the best of all things for you every time. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.